The Indiana Fever just lost to the Connecticut Sun.
The Indiana Fever is in a world of trouble right now.
What the hell was that? The Connecticut Sun did everything they could to lose that game, and the Fever still couldn't win.
The Fever stink without Caitlin Clark. It is rough. It has been a rough stretch. I thought that Indiana would split.
Stephanie White came into this game with a game plan. She had Aaliyah Boston playing point forward. And I'm telling you right now, it looked like it was going to work. There was a lot of things going right.
It just happened. Moments ago, Caitlin Clark, furious, frustrated, and fed up, was seen voicing her anger after another humiliating loss by the Indiana Fever. And you know what? She has every right to be upset. This team is falling apart without her. No leadership, no energy, no answers.
The Fever, as a result, looking like one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the league, without Caitlin Clark.
The Fever just handed a win to one of the worst teams in the league, and Caitlin's not holding back anymore. Today, we're breaking down her emotional reaction, the shocking collapse of her teammates, and the rising tension that's boiling over inside that locker room.
Everything that she does, where the Fever look like they're on even footing with the Liberty, even with Caitlin Clark limited, and then they fall to the Sun and the Mystics without. Nobody will be able to celebrate that they're, look at them go without Caitlin Clark, which you know is something that some folks out there wanted to do.
This isn't just another L, it's a wake-up call. And Caitlin Clark is done being silent. It was supposed to be a bounce-back game, a statement win, a chance for the Indiana Fever to silence critics and prove they could compete without their franchise player, Caitlin Clark.
At the start of this game, everything looked like it was going to be on the up and up. Stephanie White came into this game with a game plan. She had Aaliyah Boston playing point forward. And I'm telling you right now, it looked like it was going to work. There was a lot of things going right.
But instead, it turned into a basketball catastrophe. From the opening tip-off, things unraveled quickly. Aaliyah Boston, one of the most dominant young post players in the league, came out aggressive and effective. Her early paint presence gave the Fever some momentum, but just as fans started to feel a flicker of hope, foul trouble hit.
This game was awful. This game was a hard watch. Aaliyah Boston started off hot. Aaliyah Boston gets into foul trouble. Stephanie White leaves her in. She gets into even more foul trouble.
Boston picked up multiple early fouls, and rather than adjusting rotations or pulling her earlier, head coach Stephanie White made a baffling decision to leave her in. That gamble backfired hard.
Aaliyah Boston, this team has just got to weather the storm. You got to hope to win one game before Caitlin Clark is back.
Aaliyah Boston got into foul trouble early. I believe she had 4 fouls within the first half, and everything from that point on went downhill.
Boston's foul count continued to rise, and by halftime, she was effectively taken out of the game. Not by the opponent, but by her own coach's mismanagement. Then came the injuries. Sydney Colson, the team's only healthy true point guard after Clark's absence, went down hard in the first half. She wouldn't return.
Sophie Cunningham re-injured her ankle. She went down as well, guys.
Sophie Cunningham, she goes down. I hope Sophie Cunningham's okay.
Tough loss, man. Tough loss. The backcourt looking really handicapped right now. The crazy thing is they started to make the comeback without Sophie and Sydney. That's the most amazing part about this game.
Later in the fourth quarter, Sophie Cunningham, already battling previous injuries, re-injured her ankle in what looked like a severe twist. Just like that, the Fever were without their top 3 ball handlers. It wasn't just a setback, it was a full-on crisis, and it showed.
For the rest of the second half, Sydney Colson goes down. Goodness, Sydney Colson stays down. We don't see her on the bench for the rest of the game. She's in the locker room. I hope Sydney Colson's okay. Later in the game,
without Caitlin's floor generalship, without Colson, without Sophie, the offense completely fell apart. Kelsey Mitchell, thrust into the role of primary shot creator, crumbled under pressure. Her performance was one of the worst of her season. 4 for 15 from the field, 0 for 4 from beyond the arc, and a handful of head-scratching decisions that had even her biggest supporters shaking their heads.
And unfortunately, they just could not get the job done, man. The Connecticut Sun came in shooting lights out. And for the Indiana Fever to be a three-point shooting team, we couldn't find a three until DeWanna Bonner started shooting them, literally, bro. They went from being an unstoppable team to I don't know what the hell is going on, guys. Stephanie White is going to have to answer to this in a press conference. Losing to the Connecticut Sun, I don't give a damn if it was a hard-fought game. I don't care, but just losing to them, the way that they lost to them was completely embarrassing, bro. Just embarrassing to be at home to lose to one of the worst damn teams in the league is just
Dribble happy tunnel vision, off balance jumpers. It was rec ball, not WNBA basketball. Meanwhile, the Connecticut Sun, a team that came into the game 0-5 and desperate for a win, took full advantage.
I'm telling you right now, shout out to DeWanna Bonner, man. She showed up, hit 3 back-to-back threes, did everything she could to get us in position to win this game.
Dana Bonner erupted in the fourth, banking in wild threes and swinging the momentum. Marina Mabrey, who should have been scouted and slowed down by her former coach, torched Indiana's defense with ease. The Fever's defensive rotations were late, confused, or non-existent. Even when the Fever cut the deficit and pulled within 3 points with less than a minute to go, it never truly felt like they were in control. The team looked rattled, disjointed, and then came the final play.
The team battled back, down 15, and Stephanie White loses the game. We're down 3, 84-81. We have an opportunity to tie the game, and what do? We go for it too. Stephanie White, in her wisdom, calls a play for Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell, who hasn't been doing anything all game. Kelsey Mitchell, who, man, you've been really letting me down this year. 4 for 15. Natasha Howard, 4 for 9, 9.6 rebounds. Aaliyah Boston, 8 for 10, 17 points. She only played 26 minutes because she was in foul trouble the whole game. And Stephanie White did nothing on the defensive end to try to mitigate the foul trouble. If she left her in, do something to try to mitigate the matchups for Aaliyah Boston so she's not consistently put in vulnerable positions.
With the game on the line, down by 3, Coach Stephanie White drew up a play for Kelsey Mitchell, the same Kelsey Mitchell who'd been ice cold all game, ignoring Boston, ignoring Lexi Hull, ignoring logic. Mitchell fumbled the catch, rushed the shot, and the game ended not with a bang, but with a whimper. But here's the thing. This wasn't just another regular season loss. This was a complete system failure.
Everything that she does where the Fever look like they're on even footing with the Liberty, even with Caitlin Clark limited, and then they fall to the Sun and the Mystics without her. Nobody will be able to celebrate that they're, look at them go without Caitlin Clark, which you know is something that some folks out there wanted to do.
A coaching meltdown, a roster collapse, a night where everything, from rotations to defensive effort to basic execution, fell apart. And for the first time, the world got a crystal clear look at just how lost the Indiana Fever are without Caitlin Clark. It wasn't just that they lost to a winless team, it's that they looked like they didn't belong on the same court.
There has been another massacre on this Indiana Fever basketball team. Every damn point guard is now hurt. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Indy. At the start of this game, everything looked like it was going to be on the up and up. Stephanie White came into this game with a game plan. She had Aaliyah Boston playing point forward. And I'm telling you right now, it looked like it was going to work. There was a lot of things going right.
Caitlin Clark isn't just the most talked about rookie in WNBA history. She's the face of the Indiana Fever, the offensive engine, the spark, the competitor. And when you take away your engine, the whole machine starts falling apart. That's exactly what we're seeing. Caitlin was sidelined for this game, reportedly due to injury management. But even from the bench, even not dressed to play, she couldn't hide her frustration.
It's absolutely pathetic. Look at this. Look at me during this game, folks. Look at this. 68-59 in the fourth quarter. Before the miracle comeback, because it was a miracle. 74-65. 12,000 people in the building. 5,000 people said, I don't want to go. Sold their tickets. Leave those seats wide open.
As the Fever unraveled possession after possession, the cameras caught her expressions, shaking her head, visibly upset, throwing her hands up after missed rotations, botched plays, and poor decision-making.
Damn, man. So this was Caitlin Clark actually kind of, rubbing the shoulder of Aaliyah Boston because the referees was just not showing her no mercy tonight, bro. They was just picking on her every step of the way. And it was just unfortunate, man. Caitlin Clark was doing what Caitlin Clark does, going off on the referees. Now, this was around the time Aaliyah Boston picked up that 5th foul. Now, Stephanie White actually challenged this play. She won the challenge on that one, man. And then ultimately, we know Kelsey Mitchell.
This wasn't a quiet frustration. This was boiling over anger, the kind that comes from watching your team completely fall apart without you. And honestly, who could blame her? Clark has carried this franchise on her back since day one. In every game she plays, she draws double teams, runs the offense, sets up her teammates, and stretches the floor just by being there. Her basketball IQ elevates everyone around her. But when she's not out there, the floor collapses, the ball sticks, movement dies.
There's no spin. Stephanie White, that's unacceptable. That is absolutely unacceptable. The first quarter, Aaliyah Boston's offense looks perfect. She gets into foul trouble and you have no idea what to do? How much are they paying you? Cut that in half and give it back. You have no idea what you're doing on the sideline. At least Chrissy Side said, fuck it, I don't know what I'm doing. Kaylin, do your thing. And we would have been good starting off the season like that.
The Fever's offense looks like 5 strangers running pickup at a YMCA. What makes her anger even more justified is how preventable this loss felt. The Fever had moments, brief flashes, where they were still in control. Aaliyah Boston dominated early. Lexi Hull brought energy and scoring. But the coaching decisions, especially in the clutch, were baffling.
And what's crazy is that when she was playing point forward, it was working. Everything was working, bro. Aaliyah Boston, it was just working for her, bro. But then shortly after that, just like I stated, Sydney Colson got hurt. Watch this right here. Cannot make this up, man.
And Clark knows basketball. She sees it. She knows the game was lost, not because the team lacked talent, but because it lacked direction. Leadership, urgency. Let's not forget, this team had a 16-0 run in the fourth quarter. They fought back from a 15-point deficit, and yet when it came time to close, they collapsed again.
Damn, man. So this was Caitlin Clark actually kind of, rubbing the shoulder of Aaliyah Boston because the referees was just not showing her no mercy tonight, bro. They was just picking on her every step of the way. And it was just unfortunate, man. Caitlin Clark was doing what Caitlin Clark does.
Caitlin's body language said it all. Enough is enough. She wasn't just mad at the scoreboard. She was mad at the standards. Or more accurately, the lack of them. The team looked disengaged at times, emotionally flat, and tactically lost. For someone like Caitlin, who's used to holding her teammates accountable, used to pushing everyone around her to be better, this wasn't just painful to watch. It was infuriating. Her reaction isn't just a viral moment or a meme for sports blogs. It's a signal, a warning shot to the organization, the coaching staff, and her teammates. We're wasting time, wasting potential, wasting the opportunity to build something real. And if they don't wake up soon, Caitlin Clark won't just be angry on the bench. She'll be demanding change, from the locker room to the front office. With Caitlin Clark off the floor, we didn't just see the Fever lose a game. We saw the truth, and it was ugly. This team without Clark looked disorganized, poorly coached, and mentally fragile. Her absence didn't just create a talent gap. It revealed a structural failure from top to bottom. Let's start with the coaching.
No update yet. Wait to hear from our training staff about where we are right now. But no, Sid was in the locker room. I didn't see Sophie after the game. There's no question, we're hitting adversity right now. Like it's challenging. And it's still a great opportunity for us because it's not going to be perfect. It's early enough in the season that we've got a chance to really, I think, find a gut check moment, right? And who we're going to be through adversity. And, I think our team battled. We just didn't have enough of the end.
Stephanie White was supposed to bring in a new culture, a fresh start. But what we saw instead was a complete lack of strategy. Rotations were confusing. Foul trouble wasn't managed. No in-game adjustments, no urgency, no accountability. When Aaliyah Boston picked up multiple early fouls, she was left on the floor too long, then pulled completely out when they needed her most. There was no plan B, no attempt to preserve her for crunch time. Instead, the Fever's most efficient player sat while the team collapsed. That's not just a bad game. That's bad coaching. Then there's the offensive scheme, or lack of one.
When you look at this game, guys, the girls was getting snapped up on the Indiana Fever side. It's not bad enough. Like Caitlin Clark is not in the game. Okay, she's out for the next 2 weeks currently due to a lower leg injury. I believe it was her. She strained her lower left calf muscle. Excuse me, that is for Caitlin Clark. And then we see Sydney Colston in the second quarter. I believe it was the second quarter, the first half of this game. She goes down with a lower leg injury. And then in the fourth and final quarter, we see Sophie Cunningham. She was like, grimacing in pain on the ground, grabbing at her left ankle. The Indiana Fever girls are getting snapped up, but again, like I always say, we do not want any players to experience any illnesses or any injuries. We need all the girls to stay healthy and strong in this current season, okay, to keep the game exciting, to keep the competition strong. You don't want to kill a lion.
With Caitlin Clark orchestrating the offense, the Fever at least had structure. There was spacing, there was pace, there was creativity. But without her, the system turned into isolation-heavy, inefficient panic ball. Kelsey Mitchell, instead of being used as a shooter and cutter, was asked to become a floor general, and she failed miserably. Her shot selection was erratic. Her decision-making was reckless. She looked more like a YouTube mixtape than a professional point guard.
Even with Caitlin Clark limited, and then they fall to the Sun and the Mystics without her. Nobody will be able to celebrate that they're, look at them go without Caitlin Clark.
And yet Stephanie White kept feeding her the ball. Why? Why wasn't the offense run through Aaliyah Boston more, who finished with 17 points on 80% shooting in just 26 minutes? Why did Lexi Hull, the only perimeter player showing hustle and hitting shots, barely touch the ball in the final minutes? Why was the final play of the game designed for a player who had been ice cold all night? These aren't questions fans should be asking. These are questions the coaching staff should already have answers for.
But didn't get a good shot here in the closing moments. See, trying to free up Kelsey Mitchell, comes around, just doesn't catch it clean. And when she didn't catch it clean, it was trouble. And she was in struggle city all night.
But it gets deeper. This roster is not built to survive without Caitlin Clark. And that's a major concern. They lack consistent ball handlers. They lack shooters. And they lack players who can create their own shot in a half-court setting. Outside of Boston and Hull, there's little two-way discipline. Sophie Cunningham's absence hurt, but her return won't solve foundational problems like effort, spacing, and leadership. And let's not ignore the defense, or more accurately, the lack of it. The Fever are consistently getting beat on basic sets. Poor closeouts, lazy help, no communication. It's not just a Caitlin issue, it's a team-wide effort issue, or rather lack thereof.
This team is literally like Aaliyah and Caitlin. This team goes where Aaliyah and Caitlin goes. And Kelsey Mitchell, by the way, it's nothing to do with her hand. It is nothing to do with Kelsey Mitchell's hand. Because she's doing dumb stuff. Kelsey Mitchell plays basketball like a 2K, like a kid when they play 2K and they get $20 VC for Christmas, bump up their speed to max ratings, bump up their ball handle to max ratings, and get all the cool animations, just start spamming dribble moves.
When your best effort comes in desperation time after you've already given up a double-digit lead, that's not heart. That's damage control. This game didn't just show that Caitlin Clark is important, it showed that without her, this team doesn't function at all. And that's the real story here. It's not just that they lost to a winless team, it's that they were exposed as completely dependent on one rookie to make everything work. And without her, they are barely even a professional unit. Until coaching improves, roles are clarified, and accountability is enforced, it won't matter how many points Caitlin puts up. The moment she sits down, the Fever go from contender to catastrophe, and there you have it. Another brutal loss, another exposed game plan, and one very angry Caitlin Clark. This wasn't just frustration, it was a boiling point. And if the Indiana Fever don't wake up soon, they risk not just losing games, but losing the confidence of the one player holding this franchise together.
Going off on the referees. Now, this was around the time Aaliyah Boston picked up that fifth foul. Now, Stephanie White actually challenged this play. She won the challenge on that one, man. And then ultimately, we know Kelsey Mitchell.
Make no mistake, Caitlin Clark is 100% the most valuable player on this team, even when she's not on the floor. Without her, the system collapses. The energy disappears. The identity? Gone. The Fever aren't just worse without her. They're lost. But what do you think? Was Caitlin's frustration justified? Is the coaching staff to blame? And can this team turn it around before the season slips away completely? Let us know in the comments. Drop a CC 100% if you believe Caitlin Clark is the heart and soul of this team. And don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown like this. We're just getting started. And trust me, the drama in Indiana is far from over. Until next time, stay sharp, stay real, and we'll see you in the next one.